I'm over there this particular day by myself. And just work schedule worked out where I didn't have a battle buddy to go with. So I'm just over there by myself. My brigade commander spots me and he says, "Spears, who are you sitting with?" I said, "By myself, sir, no one." He said, "You're sitting with me." And I'm like, "Yes, sir." E4 to O6. And he proceeded over the course of that lunch to make it abundantly clear to me that he expected to receive an application for officer candidate school from me.
Nice.
And so he got it. And the rest is history. What was planned as a 4-year enlisted adventure turned into a 20-year career.
Wow, that's beautiful. And I was kind of like that. I didn't have a career path. I just wanted to come in and play and explore the world, be a Navy SEAL and have fun. But throughout my whole career, all the way up until the end, I was always approached that you need to be an officer. And in fact, there's one time it's like, "You're going to go to the Naval Academy," and I was like, "No, sir." so I want to experience in that. So it was that's a lot of work to become an officer. I can tell you, it was easy being an enlisted guy, but once you go in to become an officer, you take on a lot of responsibility. Now I started to get that as a senior enlisted, but the officer corps is fantastic. So I really salute you for doing that and having that kind of as your goal. And you reached your goal, and I love that. So you had a little combat action in Afghanistan. What part of Afghanistan?
I was in Coast Province, our regional command east from 2011 through 2012. I was personally stationed on Forward Operating Base Salerno, which is in Coast Province, kind of sits up on a hill overlooking coast, spelled Khost for anyone who may be less familiar with that area. Mm-hmm. And very, very close to Pakistan. As a matter of fact, during the winter months when it was cold, and I mean, that's a northern latitude, so it gets cold out there at wintertime, and the air doesn't hold as much moisture. You can actually see the mountains of Pakistan, the snow caps, not too far in the distance. So we were in a reasonably kinetic area there. As a matter of fact, Forward Operating Base Salerno, its nickname was Rocket City, a well-earned distinction. And as a matter of fact, when I was getting out of the Army and going to see some of the medical providers who just evaluate your physical condition on the way out, comparing it to when you came in, one of the medical providers that I met with, he was looking at my file. I remember sitting there in his office, and I can tell he's a veteran because he's got a lot of Navy stuff actually on his wall. And I was like, well, this is kind of cool. I've never expected I'd be able to, just be in an office with a veteran who's now a civilian medical provider. So I just thought it was cool. And he's sitting there behind his desk flipping through my file, and he says, "Salerno, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah, you know of it?" Because I'm looking at Navy stuff on the wall. He's like, "Oh, I know Salerno well." And so, his stories kind of matched mine.
Fantastic. And Coast, that was when I was working in Pakistan for CIA, we had a lot of people that were coming over, giving us intel and so forth, that were former and still maybe terrorists, and they talked a lot about Coast. And the doctor that we started talking to that eventually led us to Osama bin Laden, he worked on people that came out from Coast. So that was a very hot area. So good for you to be in that area and survive it. So.
Yeah, we were fortunate. We lost a total of 9 members of our brigade on that tour. And I was the public affairs officer, so I had to write the death releases. And so those were the worst days. Those were the absolute worst days. But with that said, a brigade of roughly 3,500, every life lost is a tragedy. But man, I think how fortunate we were at the same time. Yeah. Because it was a hot area, and I really I said on the record to the New York Times while we were there, I said, I don't take for granted the power of prayer, and they put that in the story, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm sure someone's going to think I'm some wackadoodle. I didn't care because I believed it then, I believe it now.
Yeah, it's a tough life, and I lost some friends in Iraq and Benghazi, so. We continue on, and honor those that have fallen. And another thing that we do, we continue on and bring information to everyone out there so they can see that it's not all, perfect. Just like, we're talking, everybody's like probably, hooyah, great for you guys, ooh, and that's great. We love that. We love their appreciation. That's not why we served. Why we served is for our country, for God, our families, and our country. So there's definitely some issues, and that's why you got out to talk about some of those. Now, I looked over your stuff, and my God, you're just like crushing the narrative on this. I just love it. One of the things that interview topics that I'm looking at is military institutional capture and reform. And one of the first sentences is progressive ideologies capture of the U.S. military under the Obama-Biden administrations, including DEI policies that erode readiness and traditional values. So you were seeing this firsthand, as I was, even when I was out, worked for the CIA. I saw a lot of this stuff coming in. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the military, like every other institution, naturally tries to drift left just because it's made up of human beings. And that's just the way that all institutions are. And those who stay grounded, those that stay rooted, they do so because there are strong leaders and strong stakeholders who refuse to give up the lines. And they're always pulling, and they're always rehammering. They're always pulling, they're always rehammering, they're always regrounding. And the military has been one of those honor institutions. And we have this tradition, this progressive tradition for the last century called the Progressive March Through the Institutions. And what that means is what you cannot accomplish by the ballot box, what you cannot accomplish legislatively, you spread through the institutions, corporate institutions, religious institutions, governmental institutions,